Hey guys, I am Kaiju Cooper, and today we are going to be taking a look at Transformers Kingdom Beast Megatron. I gotta say, this is a really nice figure, but before we take a look at him, let's go ahead and take a look at the packaging, which I have right over here. And wow, this is a really big box. You can see on the front here, you get nice artwork of T-Rex mode and dinosaur mode, Transformers, all your usual stuff. Kingdom logo, leader class. You get that iconic Kingdom artwork with all the characters there, and I just absolutely love that artwork. You know, it's amazing. Mwah. On the back, you get some shots of Barney Megatron, and yeah, I mean, he looks pretty good. Well, I will say he does have a much lighter color scheme on those images. Might just be filters or something, I don't know. Top of the box just has his faction symbol, so nothing too remarkable there. Bottom is just legal info along with the Transformers authentic seal. That's it for the box. So yeah. Here is Megatron in all of his glory, and I gotta say this figure does look really good. I mean, I just absolutely love it. Get a really nice head sculpt done in some glossy paint. Get a closer look at that. I mean, it looks exactly like Megatron from the show. Not the Netflix show. God, the Netflix show was horrible. Despite how good the head is, they didn't paint the back of it, which is pretty disappointing, so yeah. And yeah, this guy is pretty much just coated in paint, which can be a good and a bad thing. I don't prefer Transformers to have too much paint, because the problem with paint is that it chips, and oh boy, were there some chipping problems here. Just look at his leg. It's not too big of a deal as long as you don't handle him too roughly. But yeah, this is just a great looking figure, although I will say a rubbery plastic is used on the figure, which can lead to some really weird, problems. This was like this out of the box, which is pretty disappointing, but not too bad. Despite that I don't really like paint that much, I still gotta say this figure looks absolutely amazing, and I love it. You know, the paint does bring it all together. I don't like the durability of the paint, but it still looks pretty good, so yeah. This figure does have a really big backpack here, which kind of sucks. It looks kind of like the show backpack, definitely some compromises here, but the figure is just super solid in its own regard to where, I can forgive it. Now, I will say, though, the claw here isn't the best. Also, this elbow is really loose, which, kind of sucks. The claw here isn't the best. They could have done more with this. He has a hinge joint at his wrist for some reason. I don't know why. Kind of pointless. Because of the transformation, the green is facing down and the tan is facing up, which doesn't matter that much. My problem is posability of the claw is you only get a hinge at the bottom, and it goes side to side from the top, and that's not how claws work. I easily could have just seen them instead of having the hinge be like this, have it facing the other way, have the tail go up and down. And if they didn't want to do that, they could have just added a swivel at this whole part here, but they added it at the base instead of at the tip, or they could have just done both, honestly. So that kind of sucks in terms of claw posability, but still not too big of a deal. I do really like the gunmetal colors they got going on here at the hips and at the chest. Looks amazing. He's very barrel chested, and I think that fits the character really well. Once again, looks a lot like the show, just with more modernized looking pieces of dinosaur on him, I guess. That's the best way I can put it. Yeah, posability, you get a swivel at the head. It's a ball joint, which means you can kind of cheat a look up. He's got a tiny look up like that. Can't look down at all. Like I said, swivel. I guess if you want to, you could have him look up like that, but then you just kind of end up breaking his neck. So yeah, some nice big shoulder posability here. Actually not the same on both sides. You get a swivel here, bicep swivel there, really weak elbow that I already talked about. His hand can move up, which does not serve any purpose at all. Kind of pointless, could have done a little bit better with that. At the other arm, you get a swivel as well. It can move back and forward, and of course out movement on both of them. Forgot to mention that side. Bicep swivel, good elbow, although T-Rex head is facing like that. It can go the other way as well. But yeah, his claw, I mean, it's just a T-Rex head, so you get a hinge at the bottom jaw there, and the top part also opens, so it can open pretty wide. If you have any blast effects, which sadly I don't, they can go in that little peg right there for some blushing, I guess. Swivel here! It's a bad Jobby the Hong reference. So, you get some articulation of the legs, kicks about that far, goes back about that far. Surprisingly, it's not prohibited by the kibble too much. Kicks out a little bit, but that little hip thing prohibits it. So, there's a little hack. You can just move that. It's for transformation, but if you want to, you can move that down and lets you get a much better kick out. So, pretty genius there. Get a really nice knee. No, it's called thigh swivel. You get a knee swivel though, so that works. You get big dinosaur feet, and man, these feet are, these feet are so succulent and delicious. I'm sorry, guys. That was weird. I'm not going through a good stage in my life right now. Please like and subscribe so we can hit 1K. Go vote on my newest poll. Please, please, I beg of you, please! The foot also goes up and down and goes in for a pivot. Pretty snazzy, and this figure, very, very posable. I love it. And yeah, you know, it's just a great figure. It's so good. I just can't describe how great it is. I mean, it's so great. Here he is in his T-Rex mode. Pretty good looking, pretty satisfying transformation. But I will say it's not satisfying enough for me to want to do it on camera. You see why I don't like paint on my figures? It'll scratch, you know, once you throw it at a wall. So, like I was saying, amazing T-Rex mode. Probably, I mean, actually might be the best beast mode in Transformers. Like, just bar none. The posability on this thing is insane. There's pretty much no kibble, like honestly. Yeah, he's panely, but there are no robot parts sticking out except for inner thighs if you want to be virgin about it. Yeah, the figure's just covered in this beautiful purple plastic, and most importantly, that glossy green paint running up from the tip of the tail all the way up to the head. They did not skim out with the paint on this thing. I mean, look at the underbelly, all that nice glossy paint. Although I will say his stomach does not like to stay tabbed together, but you know, not too big of a deal. Some gappy thighs, but not too big of a deal once again. But man, this head sculpt is just beautiful. I love it so much. Reminds me a lot of Jurassic Park, and I mean, they did use this mold in the Jurassic Park crossover, so understandable. But just look at him. Yeah. And before we move on to posability, I just want to correct something I said in my short review. This whole back thing, it does tab in. I just didn't see the tab. Also, go check out that short review if you haven't. Just do it for the sake of my sanity. What were we doing it? Oh yeah, posability. At the head, you get a swivel there. You can look up about that much. Actually, you can look all the way back if you want. He can open his mouth at the bottom jaw and at the top jaw, so you can get real big roar there. It's only supposed to open about that much though. So that's that. You get ball joints at his tiny little two-fingered arms. Wow, just absolute alliteration there. So that's not very useful, but it's nice. You know, you can have him do that, you know, I guess. We got leg posability, and because of how they engineered this whole thigh part to be, let me just show you guys real quick. It's on a slider. It lets it keep its kick back and forth like that. You know, it goes back too, and that's all because them geniuses over at Hasbro put the thigh on a slider. God, will this just tab in? Anyway, you get a knee bend and a knee swivel. Ankle up and down, ankle tilt. There is a tilt. What? Toe up and down, whatever. I don't care anymore. His tail wiggles from side to side. It's kind of just loose right there, although you do get actual posability back here. And a swivel if you want. Not very useful. And that's pretty much it for T-Rex posability. This T-Rex mode, so much fun to play with. Honestly, if you're a Kaiju fan, get Megatron here, because this, or Jurassic Park fan, get Megatron. It's worth it for the T-Rex mode alone. You're gonna love it. It's amazing. I love it. You know, just impeccable. And I forgot to do size comparisons in robot mode. I'm such an idiot. But we'll do size comparisons now. Here he is next to Sonic and Knuckles. Authentics Wheeljack. The gargantuan masterpiece Optimus Prime. Kingdom Megatron is one of the best Transformers figures to ever be produced, and if you like Beast Wars, get him. If you even just have a passive likeness for any Transformers media at all, buy him. He is amazing. And if you've seen my top 5 figures of the year video, which if you haven't, check it out, you'll know that this was one of the best figures, you know, of the year for me. Like, he was tied for first. So amazing figure. And to keep on track with all the other ratings I've given him, you know, I gotta keep the rating the same, consistency's sake. I have to give this man an amazing, delicious, bombastic 10 out of 10.
Ah, yes. A 10. Excellent.